Got it. We're locally recording, not the opening, but you know, from here on out. That's cool. So first things first, the weapons and things that we need for this run. So in my stash right now, I'm going to be pulling out the... Where are you? The Emperor's Reign. This is a decent one for New Game Plus story. We do use the bows, the hunter bows, a fair bit in the beginning, and then as most things are these days with Forbidden West, we move on to a sharp shot bow later on and other explodey things. Get to Latopolis tonight. I'm probably not gonna... Oh, we should make it there. I think we will. And then the Gravesinger's Lament is actually the sharp shot bow I like to use. And so today is, how does Greedy Old Ka do the speed run? Other people may insist on using some other weapons or skills or something, to going different ways. I'm happy to do those things as well. Certain things I can't do, and I'll explain when I don't know how to do something. So hopefully we'll be able to get people in to show, you know, how they do stuff. Anyway, I think I got the weapons I need. Yeah, we're good. So we don't need the tie that binds for this. That's an ultra hard weapon. And we don't need Ear of Downfall because that is also an ultra hard weapon. So we will take the Emperor's Reign. I like it deer in the bottom right. The Sun Scourge goes top right. And Gravesinger's Lament. And so this is my weapon wheel. Let me just leave that up for a sec. So I'm going to put the Gravesinger's Lament in the bottom, but here's what I run with. Make sure I'm, yeah. As if I'm going to be reading chat. Got you. Anyway. So this is the way I like it set up. Other people, I don't know where folks like their weapons to be. I always prefer my hunter bow down into the, like a quick down into to the right. Dorian, you know what we forgot? Hold on, let me add something real quick. I know we're working on this space over beneath me, but oh, I don't have it in here. Where is it? So I have a PS5 controller we can put up, but I can't remember the source. Please hold. Nah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'll figure it out for next time. It's probably a good thing to have an input display on the, yeah, right? It's a good idea to have an input display. I could probably copy it from one of my other scenes, but I'm not on that profile right now. It's just kind of dumb. Let me see here. Anyway. So, I like to, as I was saying, I'd like to have my hunter bow. Why is this doing this to me again? Game. See, when I plug things into this silly controller, it messes things up. Anyway, I have a DualSense Edge that I use for speedruns now, and messes up all of my audio when I plug it in. Anyway, we'll use something else. So I'm usually quicker to push this direction, and so since I'm using it all the time, I like to put my hunter bow here, or my ice crossbows right here. So it's either here or here for a quick change, even though I'm terrible at it. And then down on the bottom, sharp shot bow. With the Gravesinger's Lament, you're only using the advanced precision arrows. We're not using the elite ones. So, yeah. And then for the PS5 runs, Spectre Gauntlet is still a useful item. And for those who've seen PC runs lately, you'll get that joke when we get there. So we keep this one on the weapon wheel as well, and then the two things you'll use in story are your advanced explosive bombs and your acid bombs. Explosive bombs for obvious reasons, acid bombs for using status effects to kind of help you along with animation cancels and things like that. So we'll cross those bridges when we get there. Yeah. So that's the layout we'll have. I do need to add some coils, and this is a good time to go over just exactly what those are. So here with the Sun Scourge, this is our elemental bow. You can see it gets agility, overdraw, reload, and aerial enemy damage boosts, as well as it also has an instant brittle chance, which is great when it works. And it isn't really a detriment at all, because you want things to be brittle. What we don't want is shock, per se, on the, say, Ear of Downfall in Ultra Hard. So some things work against you, but yeah. And then Emperor's Reign, which is our Hunter's Bow. You can use Tears of the Land God as well. I've used both in runs, and because they basically have the same impact damage, it doesn't really matter. You do have a stealth damage here, some close range damage, overdraw damage to go along with your elite overdraw coils, which we're going to add 2 more of now. Do I have enough for that? No. Oh, we didn't take enough of them out. Oh, they're there. If you're like me, you don't really care for this coil menu because it moves around too much, but that's fine. So yeah, so we use 5 elite overdraw coils on this bow, mostly for the reload speed, and of course the overdraw damage that comes with them, which is 25% or 15% per coil. I don't know if it maxes out or not. I'm not the numbers guy, but yeah. Anyway, so this is what we use here on story. In the early game, killing things with this bow is really easy and preferred. It's fast. You can kill bristlebacks and scroungers pretty quickly. You can still use spike throwers and things like that if you want to, just like we do in Ultra Hard, but it's essentially not necessary to use that much firepower. If you can fire quickly and accurately, you can take things down pretty quickly. So, yeah. Anyway, so five of the elite overdraw on that. Same thing for the Sun Scourge. You really just want it for the reload speed. You do get the extra kind of the agility damage and stuff that helps to boost your status impacts. So like you'll notice a lot of the times in runs when we do need to freeze or get an acid status on something, we do that while we're doing an agility move, whether we're jumping through the air, sliding across the ground, because you get a little extra boost not only to your damage but to your status effects as well. So that's helpful for other types of runs. Here we don't rely on that so much. Really, we're just trying to do as much damage as possible on story in one shot, because most things will go down in one shot. So that is as far as our regular hunter bows. So for elemental and impact. The Gravesinger's Lament. On story, we use this one because of that gigantic 40% draw speed. It's such a big boost. It doesn't really feel like a sharp shot bow once you've had that on there. And not to mention the multiple enemy damage is really nice, because it kind of goes together with the chain burst when we do the cool root section. And while I don't always opt to use a sharp shot bow in that section, because if there's good RNG, you can just throw 2 spikes and be done with it. If you do, kind of have a bad machine setup, it's good to be able to just pick this one and do that extra kind of multiple enemy damage. It does also have, other arrows to use that are good for that, but we don't use those in this run. So, again, like anything, we want this to have, or like any sharp shot bow in a Horizon Forbidden West run, we want this to have, got this. Elite critical hit coils, so that we do a fair bit of damage with our hits. And trying to think of the places where we use this. If I don't opt to use a spike trap on Nessie and during the Poseidon split, it's pretty good here for that. Otherwise, you know, Tilda, Eric, the Thunderjaw, you know, I tend to go with a propelled spike there, but you can be just as quick, I think, with 2 quick focus shots. We also, you know, you can use this for so many things. Tau as well. So killing the Grimhorn and then turning, you know, and switching to bombs and things. So it's like, you know, a lot faster than having to toss something. Aloy's animations for throwing things can be, you know, slow, as some of us have seen, right? So anyway, so that's the Gravesinger's Lament. This is my favorite sharpshot bow. I know you don't have elite arrows, but I absolutely love this thing because of how fast it shoots. So it's a nice DLC weapon. Spectre Gauntlet, just with the, you know, normal upgrade to the railgun. The railgun and the designator is what we're looking to use, so that's what we'll use during Eric. And then Legacy's Reach. So here we've got the New Game Plus Blastling. This one I just use 4 explosive coils and an overdraw coil for the reload. The reload and the draw speed boost. Generally, I'm only using this to finish things off. This is the first weapon we use. I'm glad to see that you've identified the Blastling, Charlie. This is the first weapon we use in the run on the Scroungers, but yeah. So I keep 4 explosive coils and an overdraw. You can add a little more damage with it if you just do 5 explosive coils. It's kind of nice. Otherwise, the overdraw damage that you get both as a perk on this weapon and from the elite overdraw is enough to give you as much as any or more as any explosive coil you're going to add here. So really it's just to get that explosive damage up there around, you know, 450, and then, you know, you do pretty good. I leave it this way, and just as a side note, on ultra hard as well, because if you add 5 explosive coils, you can't get low health. You'll just kill yourself. So something to keep in mind when you're doing ultra hard runs down the road. We use the last argument here because of, I don't know, just more power. I do think that the Defiance or something like that is the other one, has a little quicker speed, which is great, and you'd have plenty of damage from it. But I like this one just to make sure things are dead, especially with the spike traps. When you throw a spike trap at the Tide Ripper for Poseidon, or at you throw a propelled spike at the Thunderjaw heading into Thebes, if you throw, you know, spike traps for the Bellowback and for Mark and all that stuff that we use it for nowadays, and even the Grimhorn now in Gemini, because we can't use traps on PC. Like, it's just a way to make sure you're doing enough damage to kill things. So I do all the explosive damage, so you can see it's 577 on the advanced spike thrower ammo, and then you're good to go. Urivs and Tie the Binds, we're going to get rid of those. So I will go over outfits as well. So we wear the Nora Thunder Warrior armor because it has our stamina regen on it. We add a +2 weapon stamina coil and an evader coil here, just so we get those extra rolls out of that. We will be eating food to help with our evader skill, to kind of max it out during swimming sections of the run. But we do need that extra weapon stamina because it isn't part of this. But everything else is really nice. Heavy weapon is up if you're going to use the pew pew section. I mean, we don't use the guns, but it helps. We do have some stealth ranged, which you're going to be doing a fair bit of that. You kill a lot of things before they see you coming. Stamina regen speaks for itself. Concentration, deep concentration, concentration plus, like those help, you know, if you're doing things like I do. Most people say that concentration isn't super useful in these speedruns because it slows things down. I actually don't buy into that. When I do things like the Eric fight, slowing him down is actually helpful if you have a bow that can draw itself really quickly during concentration. And so that's why using a hunter bow on story is a lot easier to do concentration than saying trying to use fire arrows to knock down the recluse during Latopolis, during like an ultra hard run. It's not as useful to use concentration there because it's already slower by default just by using that bow. So I like that this outfit adds that extra boost to your concentration when you're trying to use it for things like 4 shots right off the bat on phase 2 of Eric, stuff like that. And that's, again, my personal opinion. Not everyone does it that way. A lot of people like to keep things going because Aloy draws arrows faster. I'm not arguing any of that. That's totally correct. I'm just saying consistency, that kind of stuff. I'm terrible aim, so it's fine. Anyway, so we wear the Nora Thunder Warrior, and you can apply whatever look you like. I like the Nora Lookout. We've been using it in pink with the God of War face paint because why not? It looks kind of cool. I also think it makes her look like Varl a little bit, so I just kind of like the look. One other thing that you have to have during the run is Sobek's raiment, because you're going to get forced to wear this during Thebes, so you have to wear this. And you want to have on it for... What is it? Where is it? Elite traps and an evader coil. I use an elite traps and an evader coil on story. On ultra hard, you need the low health ranged. Yeah, I talk a lot when I talk during the day too. Better get used to it, guys. I actually didn't bring anything to drink, so before we get into things, I am going to take a short break, but I figured this was a good segment to just kind of go on about it, and then we'll take a little break and move on. So we use the elite traps because it allows her to drop traps just a little bit faster. And then there are places like Thebes where I like to put a trap down before fighting the Quen on the escape. Gemini, we put a trap down to kill a Grimhorn, things like that where you can just drop one really quick. She does if you use 2 elite traps, she'll just drop them like really quickly. I don't find that to put things right where I want them, so I only use 1, and she does a pretty quick drop down and put a trap down and get back up. It's a little bit slower, but it allows me to be like, all right, I know exactly where she's going to lay this. She's not just going to drop it next to me and it's going to land on something and tip over or do whatever. There are certain places where I need that thing to stay right where I put it. So dropping it with only 1 works. And then having the extra evader skill is, it speaks for itself. Being able to roll a little bit more, things like that. Swimming a couple times if you need it, that kind of thing. So, yeah. So 2 things you need, the Nora Thunder Warrior and Sobek's raiment for New Game Plus story runs. For this file, I keep the Vanquisher because that's my ultra hard one. And then the Lookout is just for my, like I said, for my transmog. So, yeah. Tools. Probably easier to go over the quick menu for that. So let's do that. So we start every run like this. So we have call the Strider, or not the Strider, the Charger mount. That's what's on our quick menu. I start with the blast sling on and the quick switch to just regular drill spikes. We don't really need the big ones until later. I don't use the advanced explosives until Tau. So right at the end of Act 1. You only need these for the opening. But I start here, and then after the Scroungers, I switch here for the fight with the Bristlebacks at Erend, and then, you know, we switch to this to get the kills on the bristlebacks in the quarry, just a couple of them. We use our regular bow on story, so, but we'll get there. So that's kind of how I like to start out. Leave it like that, you know, quick switch to there, and then after I do the scroungers, I just switch here, and then I'm a quick switch this way for the next part. So we start here, and you know, some people like things in a different order, but for me, I start with the mount call, then the large stamina potions, the ruby sunrise to add to my evader skill, and then I do acid traps, blast traps, smoke bombs. You don't really need smoke bombs in a story run because you should be able to kill things pretty quickly, and they are not going to kill you if they hit you. Some places you might want this is when you're looting things to get parts for the diving mask. You do have to kill a bellowback in a hunting ground or in a convoy, depending on which way you decide to do it. And you also have to kill a long leg in either said convoy or at the greenhouse. So having these are helpful if you don't want to maybe get hit by a rock thrown from a burrower or get stomped on by a claw strider or anything else. A rollerback, maybe? There's a rollerback at the hunting ground. So if you really do want to just be like free from getting trampled by something and losing time, these are okay. On ultra hard, I highly recommend them. And then the flying mount call, which we'll get to after the base, because we can get a flying mount after the base in New Game Plus, and that's what we're talking about today. So one day we'll talk about any percent, but not today. Inconvenient alligators in Las Vegas. Well, you know, the snapmaw can't get you if you move faster. Just kidding. So that's it for all that. Let's go over the skills real quick, and as you can see, I have them all. Wow, that was fast. I would actually, and I just haven't done this yet on this file, is not take the launch to your mount skill from the DLC. Where is that? I don't think it's necessary. I think it's over here somewhere, but I know where things are, I promise. Where is it? Did I miss it? Thought it was one of these anyway. Oh, I missed this one over here. Here it is. I'm sorry. Flying grapple launch. You'll find there are times that you want to get on your Sunwing and you want it to just stop when you press circle. You want to just be able to stop him and turn, like, and launching off isn't going to help you because it just kind of keeps going, right? So this can be a nuisance in some places, like at the Grove. So I don't recommend getting it if you don't want it. You don't have to have it. The smoke bomb thing, and since we're not really on ultra hard, but the smoke bomb heal isn't as bad as you would think for ultra hard, because if you just toss it and then get out of the smoke, you're not going to go over 50% that quickly. Yeah, we haven't quite gotten to what the weapon wheel skills are set to yet. I'll do that in a moment. But yeah, you could go without smoke bomb heal on ultra hard. But you know, it's the only one I would say definitely, if you don't want it to annoy you sometimes, is that mount grapple thing. As far as our stamina skills, you're gonna stick with the sticky bombs on your blast sling. You're gonna want propelled spike to start with on your drill spikes, but you're going to switch, which is a 1 left press, to spike traps at some point. And we'll go over that when we get there, because I can't really think of it off the top of my head when I do the first switch. we don't really use this bow on story. It's just kind of filling space here. You can use it, but you don't need to. And then triple notch, we don't really need to use. You can if you want to, but that's what I leave it set here. So it's always triple notch on a hunter bow. Sharp shot bow is focus shot. Make sure it's not double notch. And then designator is, you know, the only thing really for the Spectre Gauntlet, so that's what that's set to. But you really are only going to use the railgun for the Eric fight. So we'll get there when we get there. Yeah. So make sure, you know, you can not learn the skills that you don't need. But it might, you know, mess with some of the things that you have gotten. I don't know if you can like get all the skills and just not get these. I've never really reset it up. So I just have them all. I know how to switch them when I need to. Mostly it's just this right here. The spike trap to propelled spike switch and back that I'm generally having to do. So anyway, that's how we set up a file. Of course, you want to be max level. You want to have a full amount of ammo. So let's go over the stash actually while we're here. That's probably not a bad idea. You want to have a full amount of ammo for all your weapons, obviously, in your stash. For me, that's just a lot of everything. You don't really need all this. I went a little overboard with the duping, as you can tell. But you do want to have, you know, enough to do the runs. You know, a few hundred of everything is not a bad choice. And when you're duping things, if you are using the arena duplication glitch, don't forget to put your ammo in the box. You know. Anyway, and if you just, you know, stick to what you're going to use, put those in there. You don't have so much lag and things. Sometimes I have a lot of things in my inventory, and that can definitely slow your game down, so keep that in mind as well. You can see I have some 132 million shards as well. These things are just not smart. Don't do what I do. Do as I say. That's the important part. Same with all these coils and things. Unnecessary. So it's an old file. I'm looking to rebuild it. So we want to have that. You want to have all the stuff that you would use here for tools. You want to have plenty of those. So, you know, dupe your food, dupe your stamina potions, dupe your traps, the ones you want to use. Dupe all your traps if you like them. Smoke bombs, that kind of stuff. So have what you need. Yeah, that's a lot of shards when you sell thousands of items that you got for free. With almost no effort. Duping's a lot easier now than it was when I built this file, that's for sure. I built this file when IJs were still a thing. I want to make sure I did everything before we move on, so yeah. That's that. And go make a save here. Sweet, now we have 2. All right.
The snow brought the chill.
Okay. I'm gonna take a short break. I'll leave you guys with Halo and a little music. And I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Thanks for waiting. Need to get some water. All right. So let's get a run started, shall we? So to start a run, as all New Game Plus runs. Some creepy, yeah, I saw the Abigail ads too. It happens. To start all New Game Plus runs, we go to this spot here in the base. This Start New Game Plus little Zenith module thing here. Yeah, definitely stay hydrated. Cheers. So we have everything set. When we start the game, we choose story for this run. We skip the tutorial in New Game Plus runs. In the tutorial, for those who don't know, you don't get all of the stuff that we just set up, all the things we just went over. You don't get those things until you reach the cable car. So we skip the tutorial all the way out of Meridian, and we go right into it. First run of the day, generally, I like to watch and listen to the song. We're not going to do that today because, well, you know, it's not an actual run. But, you know, beautiful song, great scene, all that good stuff. Cheers. We can do the title screen, though. There it is. Wasn't that nice? As Karn likes to say, now we can put sparks to
smoke,
steel.
But not a lot of activity.
Smoke's probably coming from something the machines wrecked.
Welcome in.
As for the quiet, well, there's a work stoppage in effect because of all the fuss.
So,
What sort of machines are
cart
causing the trouble?
ride is
Nasty ones.
1
Lots
minute
of them.
29 seconds.
Bristlebacks, they're called.
At the beginning of every run.
Strangeness is, they're not
Timing
native
starts
to
when
the
we skip the
Daunt.
cutscene
Just
and do this.
Showed up.
Get
all
into
of a
this
sudden.
scene. I
hunters
don't
to
have a
kill them?
timer going because
Well,
it's
we've
not
got
really that
hunters,
important.
just none that want to cross
for
over. Boss
teaching
of
where to go and how to
Chain
get there.
He
But
is
yeah, we start
self-appointed.
after skipping the
Work
third
stoppage
cutscene.
was his idea.
And there's always a
Yeah,
minute
well,
29
just
on the timer when
passing
you
through.
reach the cutscene at the bottom
an
here.
embassy to attend.
And then we'll skip that immediately
You should have
and
said,
make our way
that ain't gonna
as
happen no
fast
time
and
soon.
in as straight a line as
What are
possible
you
to
talking
Chain
about?
Hear that? That's your answer.
This is always a nice
Who is
little
that?
warm up for the run.
Carja's
Get to
son
chat with
priest.
folks for a little bit
Cranked
before,
him down yesterday,
you know,
about
paying
an hour
attention for
before
the
the
next 9
machine
minutes.
trouble started. He's a very important man, or so he says. That embassy at Barren Light, he's the one supposed to run it. Ha!
Yay, Cauldron runs.
Great.
All right. So it's always after she says, "Oh, great," we get this cutscene and we skip. So
I gotta
first
find
things
it.
first.
But it might be good
Slide,
to hit chain
cancel,
first and upgrade my
movement.
bow.
So this is a combination of L3 and square. You certainly can rebind things however you like. But where we're headed is to chain scrape, or the number 1 up there on our compass. Mostly you just want to take a straight line. People will debate
This really
over which
definitely isn't
line
safe.
exactly we should take. I think generally going this direction, there's a pretty straight shot. You can slide over all this for the most part, depending on where you stop. But I like to make my way straight at that indicator on the compass, basically the whole way.
That must be chain scrape.
The only part where you're
Drew
really
said I
not
could
going
get my
straight
bow
at it is
upgraded
right at the
there.
beginning, but once you get lined up,
Be
it's
able
pretty
tinker
easy to
with
keep
my other
going.
gear, too.
She's kind of running in place, but that happens sometimes.
That's the savior.
But
Want to
ultimately,
come in, savior?
you know, slide canceling is just starting a run as you start the slide. So, you know, you can just run and slide, that's normal. And then when she starts to drop, you press L3 again and she'll get up, like that. And you just chain those together, and you get a little bit longer of a run animation and a longer
machine.
slide out of it as well.
There must be a bristleback. Maybe.
On the second one, you kind of have to wait a second and press L3 again for her to get back up, and you can just again hit square, because if you press L3, she's going to stand up and run. So it really is just chaining together L3 square, L3 square. Hopefully the side view kind of helps visualize it a little better, but you're going to do this the whole run. Can be a little annoying. It's definitely better with back buttons
Business
if you
and
know how to
chain scrape
use them. I bought a controller that can do that, but have yet to learn. So that'll be one thing that we do eventually. Anyway, you want to come through here, take that route that I just kind of showed off through here, you know, come up this way, and then make your way up this way. You can get caught on some of these places while you're sliding. Some places you want to look out for here. You know, it's not the end of the world if you get caught, but like places like this, where there are these little divots and things like that, you're gonna get real annoyed if you try sliding over those. You want to find places, and this is especially true on PS5, where the levels are generally the same. Wow, that was really good, Aloy. Way to stay up there. Because that'll keep you from getting caught on the ground. Like when you're going between these level changes, if you get the big ones, a lot of times you can get stopped, and that's especially true when you're standing up from a slide. Like that. Like she'll kind of make a little stop and then stumble step forward, and she won't keep going. So like getting up on a thing like that is generally not how you want to use your movement. You want to plan for things to be on flat ground as much as you can. And you find that out the hard way in the cauldrons, but
let's talk, Savior.
What am I reading? Sorry.
Where'd that Chavad go?
Trybind? Ah, that's fair.
Any words for him? Throw me in with things.
Hey, where did this come up? I'm missing things. I mean, yeah, you don't have to do a yeah. I have to say something in chat. You don't have to. Just at me. I see it because of my browser. Well, that's cool. Yes, we got to ban someone. Sweet. Yes, let's go over rebinding real quick since you asked. Where is it? Controls? Pry. No, that's not it. Where is it? I don't do settings very often. Customize stuff, right? Here it is. It's at the top. I'm silly. So you go in here, button layout and customization, hit square, and go down to find Pry. Pry is by default R2. It's not very fun. You tend to miss nodes and prompts and things quite a bit, and if you do that while pressing R2, you will make a heavy attack, and that is just not what we want to be doing. It wastes a lot of time. So you go in here. I prefer triangle for these things. Whatever you like, really, as long as it doesn't interfere with something else that you should be mapped to your controller. Yeah. Going to work after the bots show up. Well, shall we move on?
Ready when you are.
So we skip the Petra cutscene, and we make our way. So there's two schools of thought here, and I think one of them is faster than the other, now that I've done it for a while. You can go here. The story is to go to the workbench and upgrade your hunter bow. After skipping the cutscene, I don't recommend it. You can do it on when you get back. You got to come back here to talk to Vladis anyway, so we'll be back for that. So after the cutscene, we head up this way, and again, try to avoid the rocks that stick up on the path, just so she doesn't get caught. You can lose 2-3 seconds to Aloy getting stuck on rocks and things like that, just on the way to get your charger. It's about 2 minutes 45 seconds ish. Or 3 minutes 45 seconds to get over here, and sometimes it can be 350 if her movement's really bad. So just something to keep in mind. So we get this, and we head this way, and here's our first little trick. So we head up this way a little bit, and generally there are 3 scroungers here, okay? That's not it. 2 more. There's the one here, the one way back there, but there's also one that by script is supposed to run into that wire. If you run up here without looking at this spot, he never spawns. So that's why we go off to the right, off the path here, if I can still see it. Which way did I go? Here. We go up here and come through this red grass and head that way, okay? And if you do that without ever really looking up here before you get past this point, he won't spawn. So it's about which way you keep your camera on, all that kind of stuff. So let me restart here and I'll kind of... It should take me way back, but... Go over this one more time. Nope, that's not it. Go back. Okay, so... Cutscene, head this way.
You finally gonna put your muscle where your mouth is?
We're gonna be doing these things over a lot, so, you know, that's cool. There's a neat little trick here, it doesn't really save much time, but if you kind of alert the charger before you get on it, it'll start running faster once you mount it. It's like a split second, it means nothing, but it's kind of funny.
Is rigged with tripwires.
So again, just come up that way, take a right as soon as you get up here, and you can see there's no third one. But the first thing we're gonna do is not kick things, but actually pull this out and shoot it. I don't know why it didn't aim, but that's fine. So killing these two, you have a little bit of time. She's gonna say some dialogue, he's gonna say some dialogue.
Hold tight! I'll see what I can do!
Try luring them into the tripwires.
You need to be off the mount and on the ground by the time the save circle that just popped up comes up. So you have until he says, you know, try luring them into the tripwires in order to finish this fight. Whether there are 2 or 3 scroungers, it's fine, but yeah. You have to type out my name so I can see it, because then it highlights it in red for me and it says mentions you. Isn't that a sweet little 7TB feature? Anyway, I'm sure it's in other things too, but that's an extension of my browser. So I'm gonna go back, we'll do this one more time.
It's high time you made up your mind.
But just to kind of do it all in one swoop here without stopping. You'll kind of see what I mean here.
Didn't expect to see you up and about.
So the prompt is always there right away. Hop on the mount. This way.
Is rigged with tripwires.
Make it worth your while if you kill these
Stop here.
scroungers.
It's always something. Hold tight! I'll see what I can do!
Try luring them into the tripwires.
You'll see a little save circle, and as soon as there's a save circle, we restart from save. We restart from save because he's up there. We want him down here. What he does as soon as this is done, he will kick down a ladder and climb down. You have to wait for him in order to talk to him. We don't want to do that. So right here we will restart from save, and then you want to immediately be mashing the triangle button. So restart, keep hitting triangle until you hear the ladder fall, and then you hit X to skip the dialogue.
I see.
We skip all the way through, and as our most dialogue selections in the run, it's down and to the left. most always. You can just hold down and to the left and it'll eventually select it, but generally I've found on PS5 it's faster to actually do the selection when it pops up, and just keep mashing X, because sometimes when you hold it there's a bit of a delay, so you can be holding down and to the left the whole time you're doing this dialogue, which we'll do again here real quick.
See her. Took it.
So,
So I'm holding down and to the left,
Drop the van.
I see.
Hope you're gonna.
Work.
Yep. More.
I should.
Oh, you're.
and it can
you-
go pretty
Maybe.
quick sometimes, but you know, once you do that, she'll say the word maybe. It's the last thing you'll hear before it ends. When you hear that maybe, just be ready to swing your camera over and go this way towards your
Should be
mount.
able to pick up his tracks with my focus.
And I'm a big fan of like listening to my run. Okay, some people don't do this, and we've had talks about this before. We don't like. Some people will listen to music when they do speedruns and stuff. I use the game for cues, and like in each of these conversations, even though you're skipping it like a madman, it does allow you to hear certain words, and it's kind of funny. Yeah, like Flair has 0 game audio. I don't know how he does it. I honestly have no idea. I need the game to tell me things and show me things so that I can be as quick as possible, because the game does things on its own terms, right? So like, if there are things that, you know, you can do without the sound, that's cool, but I wait for a lot of the sounds to do things. Anyway, listening for that maybe that she says is when I know that that's when I need to switch from button mashing to like, now it's gameplay time, right? So it's time to turn and run towards my mount, slide, and get on top. Before that restart from save, one thing I like to do, but you can do it here, is switch to my hunter bow,
Those tracks headed up the hill.
but also have the quick switch still on my drill
Focus can help me
spikes.
follow them.
So we're gonna head up this way every time, so I'm just gonna restart so we can get a good look at the direction here. I put my mount right there because that's the direction we're going, right? We're gonna head up, switch to my hunter bow, it's easier to point. We're gonna head up this way. You can see the bristleback that's up there that we're gonna chase, that you can't kill. That's the invincible bristleback. So we start with our dialogue, it ends, we go this way. If you go the right direction, that helps. And we just head up here.
There's tracks.
So there's a couple different ways you can go, right?
Errands?
Also, the bristleback can be in different places as well. Look at you, Dorian, with the thing, the working thing. Dorian's out here just playing with the layout while I'm going on. That's cool. If I plug in though, the sound hates me, so I'm not gonna do that for now. I have to switch my controller. Anyway. All right, hold on. I'll switch controllers. I don't want this to mess up my sound, so that's fine. This is like fantastic work. Oh, hold on, I gotta connect it to the PS5 first. There we go. Nice. Oh, it's the red one. How does this work? I don't even know how this works. You're a genius. Anyway. All right, cool. Well, now you guys have input display. Let's go. Technology. We have input display. So I was going to show you the bristleback, this bristleback right here, can start in several places, and I can actually, Alice, welcome back, say that Alice, in one of the very first times I think we ever really talked, in chat, told me if it shows up in a good or a bad spot, right? So it can start on the path, which is great. If it starts right here, that's exactly what you want. If it starts way over here, you're gonna run into it on the path. It's just gonna get in your way, and a lot of times it might run you right into the wall, because there's a hitbox around it that your mount will by no means ever go past. If it's coming by you, your mount will just turn hard left or hard right, and it will jump off the path this way, which isn't the end of the world, because you can actually go up that rock right there. in front of us. You have to take it at a bit of an angle and go up that way, but your mount will run right up it. If you find that the bristleback starts out over here, it's not a bad thing to do. So let me show you what I mean. You can either go this way, and I'm going to show you both ways to go from this point as well, or by the way, we're not getting that far tonight, just so you guys know. So now he's way over on the right. This is perfect. So if I were to go that way, he'd shove me into the wall, but you can actually go up here and just go up that way. And so from this point, you can actually choose to do this two ways. One way is slightly faster, but can also lead to a lot of annoyance with the mount, getting a glide right, all that kind of stuff. But you can follow this path straight through here. There's a tree all the way down there in between all those trees, right there in the center of my screen, where you're going to go around the left side of it and then jump off your mount and glide over the fence back there. You could also just follow the bristleback, pass him up over here, and follow the path. You can kind of cut it off straight through there, but you can follow it up to the actual entrance where you would normally go in game. So there's two ways to do this. Both of them lead you to a cutscene and a fight with two bristlebacks and a scrounger. So first one is here. So I'll do this one because this is what I do today. But you want to glide up here and then skip the cutscene and you're in here. You can also make it so that you come in, and I guess I can just show you, but you can come in through here as well. So this is where the path would lead you, is to this broken rubble. So the path comes up this way and you just come in from here. It's maybe a second or two slower to come this way. If you don't want to go over the wall over here, which can be a pain if you don't get it right. You can see my mount over there. That's where he was. So we jumped over it right where the wood fence kind of meets the brick there. That's where you want to jump over. Doing either one triggers the cutscene, and then you skip it. And don't press L2 before the cutscene ends. But yeah, kill all three of them, and we're on to errand. You'll see I'm using the hunter bow here. That is really all you need. I did have a pretty favorable lineup with the scrounger and the bristleback there. I probably could have like fired a bomb or a propelled spike or something and gotten both of them. But I did not do that. So basically, yeah, if they're close by, then you can... That's not the right back.
Those bristlebacks have acid canisters on their backs.
They're not going to be next to each other with the restart. Yeah, they're always going to be right there, so... Something of note, if you're trying to be fast with the hunter bow, you're going to aim and do this, and he's going to be jumping up and down. Don't shoot low.
Those bristlebacks have acid
you'll shoot
canisters
right
on their
underneath
backs.
his head, basically. You can see it here when I restart. He's doing this like butting thing, like that. And when you first get here and skip the cutscene, there's none of that fading.
Those bristlebacks have
So
acid canisters on their backs.
you're gonna get
It
him
should trigger
doing
a
that
chain
right
reaction
in
if
front
I hit
of
them
you,
with acid
and
arrows.
he'll jump right over your arrow, even with aim assist on. It's just not like gonna hit him. So you always want to aim a little high so you can hit him in his grinder tusk or whatever. So that's kind of where you want to be aiming in the front, so that you don't hit any armor plates back here or any of that. So he'll jump up and down right here, and I usually go up like this and shoot so that
Those
I
bristlebacks
hit
have acid
him
canisters on their backs.
when he's up in
It
the air.
should trigger a chain reaction if I hit them with acid arrows.
But your hunter bow is pretty good here. You know, it does a fair bit of damage, and yeah. Some other things you can do, which we do in ultra hard, but can still be really useful, is... Oops, I already killed them. I waited too long. Right here. What is this, Viola? It's tutorial. It's definitely not bingo. So if you use a propelled spike
Those
here,
bristlebacks have acid canisters
there's a
on their
good
backs.
chance you can get like a 2-for-1. Like that. So on a restart, they're always going to spawn the way they are. It's not always like that, but yeah. Like 2 years ago. Come on now, it wasn't that long. But, you know, if you find yourself in a bad fight, you can always, you know, backup would be to do like a 2-for-1 here, and then switch back to your hunter bow and kill that one. If you get really lucky, and we won't see it today, of course, but because I'm just restarting, this bristleback will like do a weird teleportation over here, like it wants to be over here with the rest of them, and you can get a 3-for-1 sometimes. So it's all RNG as far as the mount spawn and how fast you get here, and like, you know, things like that, or the bristleback spawns, I mean, and how fast you get here, because they are in a different place depending on how fast you reach a certain area of the map. If you get here at the same time all the time, you're likely to get the same spawns. But it kind of depends on what the machine is doing when you're not seeing it. So, yeah. Okay. One thing you want to do, and this saves you just a little bit of waiting time. It really isn't much. But one thing I always do here is I flash the map. I flash the menu after I kill these guys. So it's 1, 2, 3, and just do that. Just hit the middle, close it. And what that's gonna do is when Erend is done talking, when we open the map, the ancient ruin that we pass is just gonna be here, okay? If you don't flash the map real quick like that, you have to wait for it to show up before you can fast travel to it. You can fast travel to it before it's technically like appears on your map, but it's like a slow pop in. You can still get to it before it shows, but you gotta know where it is. And here, it's as simple as doing that and just holding up and to the left on your left stick and then zooming out a little bit. So I just go big button, go like that, and we're there. You'd have to wait here for this to show up, but you can just R2 and go on. So anyway, we wait for Erend as usual, so there's a little bit of a wait here as he comes down.
Aloy,
Feel free to harass him as you see fit.
you know, you might have to meet me halfway here.
Why? Because I want to do it on the speedrun channel. It's a Horizon speedrun. So we talked to Erend, and he's gonna whine and complain a lot, but we're gonna skip all that.
Okay, I know you.
I need her.
Really? But
I find the fastest, I believe, is the up and to the left here. I haven't timed them in a while or counted how many dialogue skips there are, but they seem to skip faster when you pick the fist here. There's a very specific 2 button presses that I wait for to know when to fast travel after this. So
What kind of person?
1, 2, 3,
That's what
4.
I've been doing, Aaron. What I'm...
well, like,
I'm not even gonna count them. So it's when it switches back to her, you'll have 2 hits there, and that's when you can do this and go back through. So I'm gonna do this one more time so you can kind of see where she is when we come out of this. Is he down on the ground on this one? I want to say he is. Nope, he's got to wait. So I like to hold up and to the left, mash X to get through it, and then yeah, there's a number of presses, but what you'll see is 2 quick flashes of Aloy after it switches to Erend. So it'll be like her, then him, and then back, and that's when you'll kind of know when it's coming up. I'll just show it once, and if you guys want to go back, we can get a clip of it. But so we're hitting through it, holding up and to the left.
Actually.
if you were gonna,
I'm
you,
where?
hey, all right, you left.
There's the dialogue selection. Back to Aloy here, and then right into the map. If you keep mashing X too long, you'll jump, and then you get that you're falling thing if you wait too long to open the map. So, and then again, because I had opened the map a bunch and restarted from save, it's like all the way zoomed out and stuff. It won't be like this when you open up the map. It'll be zoomed in where you are, and you'll have to go like this. So that wasn't quite how it would work, but it's because I opened the map and I've restarted from save already. So, anyway. Hey, welcome back. Have a good night, Wolfie. Thanks for hanging out. We're almost done here for the day. I'm definitely not going to get too far into the run today because we did do quite a bit on the setup too. So trying to keep episodes like to an hour, and we had like 20 minutes of setup. So we're going to do like an hour at a time probably each week, and we'll make our way through as I do this for now. We'll see how they go in the future. But yeah. Anyway, so we go to the relic ruin for the Daunt, and that's where we'll head because it gets us closer to the quarry, which is where we're gonna fight a bunch of bristlebacks coming up here. So we'll fast travel here, and you're gonna show up next to a campfire right here on the map. You do fast travel here, but it sends you to this campfire and gives it to you. We are going to cross the river and head to the quarry here, which is where we're going to fight a bunch of bristlebacks. We're going to come across basically straight this way and into it along the side of this this ramp right here. So we run basically straight west, come in over here. We're going to kill a bristleback with this trap. We're going to kill a bristleback that hangs out somewhere between here on this path. We're going to kill a bristleback that's here. Then two more are going to spawn up at the top here by these trees and run down this pathway, and they'll usually turn north as soon as they hit this kind of trap thing right here. So that's what we have coming up. So there's 5 bristlebacks to kill. We're going to do that with our hunter bow and then a propelled spike. Hopefully only 1. Probably 2, which is more likely on story because it's really hard to get into position for both of them and you don't really want to wait. Also, there is the chance that we could kill the first 3 bristlebacks too quickly and we have to wait for the spawn to happen up here. So we get here, swing the camera to your right and just head up this way. And you can kind of go wherever you like around this, but you're really headed towards this part of the river. Where we go across. Try not to double jump because there is a pole cast point, but we want to shoot this. If you don't shoot this trap right away, there is an Oseram on the other side that will shoot it and it won't kill the bristleback, even on story. So you want to shoot that one because you can't see the bristleback down there right now. You could lob a bomb down there, you might get lucky, or you could be good at it. The trap is just an easier thing to use. We also use it on ultra hard if that is any, you know, I don't know if it convinces you to go trap and not kill it yourself kind of thing. Anyway, so we shoot that and it kills the first bristleback. Now we turn and there should be one here and then one somewhere back here. And so he might be there. He may be to the left. He could be in the right all the way back by the wall back there. That one's kind of a trick. I don't know how he picks where he wants to go. But from here, you want to use your quick switch. So use your quick switch to switch to your propelled spikes. And then waiting for them to kind of start their run and just try and get hit them wherever you can. It can be difficult to get a 2-shot here. So if we go back to the quick save, we can do this one more time without stopping. This quick save is a nice little spot to practice this part as well. So like once you fast travel, you get a quick save on your menu. So like if you're looking to practice things after a fast travel, it's really good. So we come up and over, shoot that.
One less machine.
You don't have to kill these guys in any particular order.
Another one down.
But you can see now that they haven't spawned in.
That's it.
And there I got them both.
There. Cord.
Something I didn't do was call my mount fast enough there. Once you've killed the 2 in the back there, and I don't normally get a double kill when they've spawned in late. That was really lucky. You want to look down at the ground like this and immediately start calling your mount because Aloy's going to start talking and you want to call it before she starts talking. So that gives you more time to get on the mount. And Belna's now like right in place. So like this didn't work out for me.
Over here, girl. I want to thank
So you want to put your mount right here. There's this bald spot here off the path. Like right here. Put your mount kind of right on the edge of it. Not too far back, because Aloy's going to start, like, right here after the conversation. So don't put it here, because then it's kind of in your spot, and things get a little wonky when it wants to put you there. So put your mount kind of right here on this grass, you know, half on, half off, is a really good spot, because then this mount charger prompt should be there as soon as I'm done talking to Belna. But what you want to do after killing all the bristlebacks, once you've killed the 5th one, immediately look down and call your mount. That gets him in place, basically, or gives you the chance to get him in place for this. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. Just try to call him and get him close to your conversation. But if you really want to save the maximum amount of time, get your mount into this position so that as soon as you're done talking, you just press square and she hops on and you can run off and out. This is a really short conversation.
I don't know what a note we try.
So hold down and to the left, mash X,
I need to get thanks.
and it's just 3 button presses after you do the dialogue selection, and then you should be right here to get on.
Valley should be safe enough
So
to
it's
travel.
3 X's,
I'll go
and then
give
you're
Blaze
done,
the good
and we head
news.
this way.
Then maybe
This
embassy
is a
can
good
finally
time to
happen.
switch your weapons. So we use a sharp shot bow on Grutta. So we're gonna, while we're running, switch to the sharp shot bow as our quick switch. And then I switch to the bombs. I do this because it's easier to do the skips that are coming up with something that allows you to use Hunter's reflexes. The next weapon we're going to use are the drill spikes. But it isn't fun doing any kind of jumping that requires precision while you're holding the spike thrower, because it doesn't give you Hunter's reflexes when you aim. So when I'm using a bow or a blast sling, I can get that Hunter's reflexes and know I'm going to land where I want to, that kind of stuff. And that's for the embassy skip, the Barren Light skip area. That's going to be key for what we're doing. So Hunter's reflexes is something you automatically have in Forbidden West. It's something we don't use in HCD because they say it's faster. I honestly think you guys are crazy, and I find it so useful. Anyway, so I switched to the bombs, and then one thing I did not do yet is switch over to elite acid traps. For me, that's 4 right presses. This guy's supposed to just stop here. There we go. The mount stops before you get to the door. So one of the things you want to do is when you come this way, I'm just going to kind of show you what I mean. He's going to slow down when you get there. What I like to do is hold square as soon as I get past this second little stump there. As soon as you see that, let go and do your glide. Because when you land this glide, you're going to see the Barren Light thing, and that's when you can fast travel back to Chainsgrave. So, quick little thing, just so that you know how you're going to do this. You can just hop off and slide too if you want. It's really not a big deal. This is just how I do it, but I like to use the long glide off the jump here. So as soon as I see that, I let go and do that. And then you just, here we go. And since I already did it, it should be all the way zoomed out when you do this. Just zoom in and press up and to the right, and you should basically land on the campfire. Like, it really is that easy. If you just do this, you're basically right where you need to be. So like, just get the practice in with the map and you'll be fine. But just follow that line basically with your zooming, and you end up right where you want to be. You want to fast travel to the campfire, not the settlement. If you fast travel to the settlement, you will end up over here. You do not want to be over here. You want to be right here. Where we're going, we want to talk to what's his name? Olvind. And then we want to go up here and talk to Wadis. But on the way from talking to Olvind, we need to stop at the workbench and upgrade our hunter bow, which is part of the story. If you don't update the hunter bow, you cannot go forward. You will like not get the horn for the embassy when you fast travel back. So 3 things to do here when you get here. We'll fast travel, and when we do, I hold down and to the right and just keep tapping circle during this loading scene. It's 2 rolls after this happens, and you'll be off down here. There they are right there. Just take a step forward and talk. Other people will spin the camera, do whichever one you want. Commander Wadis, yeah. That's a J split for his Forbidden West runs. What were we on? Oh, You can turn the camera and run off over here, you know, that kind of thing. I find it easier to just like roll backwards and then roll off and then turn the camera real quick. It's really it's a preference thing, but just practice getting down here quickly without, you know, there's a couple things you can get caught on. I can't move it because I'm in a settlement. Anyway, there's a couple of things up there as part of the structure you can get caught on, and like you just want to look out for those. Also, one thing you want to avoid, because you're coming in this direction towards kind of a campfire, I hold down and to the right, because if you hold perfectly down coming out of that fast travel and then you hit circle, she'll fast travel with the campfire. So I try to go down and to the right because that moves her away from it and it rolls her right off. Like there's a little bit of an area where the canopy up there is just kind of missing between it and the next building, and you just roll through it. So that's my take on that, I guess. But different ways for different people, you know.
You want
So here again, skip as fast as you can.
so smart.
I'm here. One.
Well,
Not.
Hold down and to the left because that is the one dialogue selection that happens.
you don't.
Yeah.
And then stop
Well,
holding down
James
and
goes
to the
back to
left
work.
because we're going this way.
Merchants should be open to trade.
So here we want to go up
I should
to the
see if they have
workbench
anything
first.
useful.
Go in here. I forgot to put some weapons away. If you put away all your other weapons, it is just a left press here to get to your weapon upgrade for your hunter's bow. For me, it's going to be 3 presses because I have to get over to it. I'll put them away at some point during this. So you only have to upgrade it once to get the acid arrows on it, and then you back out and immediately come this way. So if you're in the right spot, rolling from over here will actually roll you right through this, and you can just keep going straight up to Wadis. Otherwise, you know, just go around them. It's really no big deal, but you can make it through that little hole if you know which direction to roll in. But we come up here, we talk to Wadis.
The way to Barren Light is clear.
Nobody wants to do that, so we skip and then immediately fast travel. So it's a skip cutscene, hit the map, and fast travel to Barren Light. 2 schools of thought here. I think it's faster to fast travel to Barren Light in and of itself as a settlement, because even though it puts you further away from where you want to go when you get there, you could also, because you got this campfire when you got the settlement, it's always right here, so it's close enough to get it. You can just go here as well. This will put you amongst like where the machine strike player is and that, and you kind of got to jump over all this stuff right here to get to the pathway, but it is a little bit closer, so it's up to you which way you want to do it. I think like Aussie and B-Dud go to the campfire and I go to the settlement all the time. Going to the settlement also kind of has the downside of the 2 guards that are outside Barren Light sometimes walking in your way. So when do I do strike runs? I don't know when that is or what that is. What are you talking about? That's not a real thing. As soon as Hunt wants to do one on an episode of Learning the Horizon with greedy old Kyle. Anyway, so you end up out here, and these are the doofuses that I was talking about. Sometimes they'll literally be standing right in front of you and side by side, so you kind of gotta get through them to get through the door. So we head in and we go straight for
taking a look around too.
the embassy door here, or like the door to the Forbidden West. We're gonna talk to the law.
Are you in charge?
And again, this is just a quick dialogue skip, and then holding down and to the left for a dialogue selection. And then you just keep mashing X afterwards because she's going to immediately do this pull cast, and you want to come up here. So after that dialogue, just keep pressing X and she'll do the pull cast. This is one of those instances where like you don't want to count the number of things that you're doing, so you can just keep doing it or whatever. So we're going to climb up here. Again, I'm in a settlement.
Still have a long way to go.
There's like different ways of thought on how to get up here, but ultimately I like to do the pull cast, land here, and then jump up. And you can climb, or you can go to the left. It really doesn't matter. When you restart, I'm gonna restart because otherwise the skip is useless.
There's a lot of activity going on around here.
You'll start back here, but when you do the dialogue, you're obviously over by the door. When you get to the top of that pullcast, use your glider, because she may grab that edge there. If not, she'll just fall back down. So a good thing to just release your glider or use your glider and see if she'll climb up. It doesn't lose you any time if she doesn't. You just jump back up here. Anyway, past the guards, past the brazier, and up here. You want to take this jump at a little bit of an angle. If you run straight at it, sometimes she doesn't want to grab, see?
I was just helping out.
So, like, you want to take it at a bit of an angle and also hit it more here than here. And this matters. Like, if she doesn't grab it, it gets very frustrating because you only have a limited time to even make this skip useful. But if Luan makes his way up,
stand aside, soldier,
and says that line, then you don't really need to be doing this skip anymore. So we'll restart and we'll show the whole thing, but because this is where it gets a little tricky. So aside from climbing up in the right spot, grabbing on like she, sometimes wants to, so we jump up here, aim, and then jump. If you jump and then aim, it doesn't work. So you want to get up here. And to do that, there's a little spot you want to jump to. From here, you want to jump into this groove right here. Okay? This groove in the rock. But you want to land like right there. And this is where there's a little bit of a hitbox you can land on. If you go too far left, you will fall. If you're too far up against the wall, you will fall. You need to land in this groove. Okay? And as soon as you land, so we climb up, aim first, right here. You can see she kind of stays there, but she doesn't stay there very long. Even with Hunter's reflexes on, she just won't stay up there. So you want to get it and jump right away. So we go up here, land on that spot, and immediately jump kind of back into the right. And she'll get into this corner here. Like right into this corner. Like here. And you can get stuck here again. So there's another little hitbox that you land on right there. And so when I jump, in order to land on this, it's just a little tap backwards. So watch the input display. So back into the right, a little jump and a little tap. That was actually too much. She kind of kept going. So just like that, and she'll get up here. She went forward a little bit on each jump. Anyway, so again, from the top.
Where's our end?
This way.
There's a lot of activity going on around here.
After the dialogue, keep mashing X, glide into the ramp, run to the left and jump up. Take this at a little angle, aim and jump. Jump to the right, wait for her to grab, little tap backwards. And so now we're up here.
I was just helping out.
You want to go, there's an invisible wall. You can't jump right here. So if I were to do this, I'm sorry, can you just go this way now? Or is he, oh, it's because he already made it up here. Let me go back. I forget, once he's been up there and I restart from save, that invisible wall goes away. It'd be cool if it didn't, though.
Alright, I should find whoever's in charge here.
And I could actually showcase it after the fact, but I was like, that's weird, I should have fallen. So we come in here,
Are you? I'm and maybe
mash through the dialogue, holding down and to the left. Here's the dialogue selection. Keep mashing, circle, square, climb up.
This place during the Red Raids. 2 years of labor.
We aim and jump, jump to the right, jump and tap backwards. And now we want to hit X and square to get what we call a super glide. I don't know what we're calling it nowadays. But you'll see that I press X and square at the same time. And that gets her an amount of height and like she levels off more as she goes forward rather than immediately beginning a descension. Like with her glider, she'll kind of go forward for a bit before coming down, and that's what you need in order to make this skip work. You have to go around that thing that's hanging like I did.
Activity going on around here.
So I'll show you one more time.
It's enough to go down this place during the Red Raids. 2 years of labor, we still have a long way to go. The work stoppage and change scrape nearly halted our rebuilding efforts. But I hear
And turn the camera and X and square. You
I
have
was
to go
just
around and aim for this corner,
Yes,
okay?
well, I'm sure Olven.
If I don't go around, I'll show you what happens. Should be fine now.
There's a lot of activity going on around here.
It's enough tore down
And it's
this
not
place
obvious
during
where
the
it
Red
is
Raids.
because, again,
2 years of
invisible
labor,
walls.
we still have a long way to go.
You will just learn over
The work
time
stoppage
where
and change
this
scrape
stops
nearly
you.
halted our rebuilding efforts.
But if I try to go this way, didn't work again because he went too far last time. Jesus Christ, Craig. You're not doing things fast enough. Explaining it makes it
Right,
seem
I should
complicated
find
because there
whoever's in
are
charge.
little parts that need to go right.
First, I
Absolutely.
resupply my stash. I'd be
I'm
taking a
trying
look
to
around,
point
too.
out the things I pay attention to when I do a skip. So, like,
Are you? I'm.
Vita does this in a much more complicated way where he does the wall jump cancel off that wall up there,
Where
and
have
I'm
you
not willing to do that.
We'll see.
So I don't even know if I can show you it in a way that works because I'm just not good at
It's
it up
enough
here.
tore down this place during the Red Raids.
So we go up.
2 years of labor, we still have a long way to go.
So now that I've started this correctly, if I try to go straight at it, she'll fall. Okay?
I was
So
just
you
helping
can't
out.
just go right at
Yeah,
that.
well,
Just like you can't run past the guards. It'll stop you from doing it. So you want to take that little bit of a path around
activity
the
going on around
outside.
here.
It's enough tore down this place during the Red Raids. 2 years of labor, we still have a long way to go. The work stoppage and change scrape nearly halted our rebuilding efforts. But I hear a certain
X and
order
square. You kind of go
I
straight
was
past
just
it.
helping out.
Yes, well, I'm sure
You really
Olven-
can't stay there, can you?
There's Errand.
This way.
There's a lot of activity going on around here.
It's enough tore down this place during the Red Raids. 2 years of labor,
Trying to see if I could see it from down
Still
here,
have
but
a long
apparently
way
it's
to
higher
go.
up than I thought.
the work stoppage and change scrape nearly halted our rebuilding efforts. But I hear a certain aura got them back to work.
I
But
was
once you've
just
done it enough,
helping
it's
out.
pretty simple.
Yeah,
So you come
well,
around
I'm
the
sure
outside,
Olven was thrilled.
and you'll see, even if you try to go left before you get to the corner, that's what I was trying to show, you'll fall. So like you have to stay outside of it. There's that wall covers that whole area up the walkway. So if you try to go back left once you get around the crane, you're gonna fall anyway. So all right, so let's actually do the skip, and then we'll do the embassy, and I think I gotta call it there for the night.
Errand.
This way.
There's a lot of
At least for
activity going on
tutorial
around
day.
here.
Not tore down this place during the Red Raids. 2 years of labor, we still have a long way to go. The work stoppage and change scrape nearly halted our rebuilding efforts. But I hear a certain
Got actual speed runs for RTH to do later.
I was just helping out.
So we jump over, and the thing I like to do, and I'd like to do this when I'm gliding, you don't have to, you can do it afterwards. I like to do it while I'm gliding, is switch to
thrilled.
my propelled spikes.
Sir,
Yes.
So we come up here,
Shut up.
get close enough to start the dialogue.
It's a, if,
I'm
that's
It's a
nope,
right
not-
selection here and a cutscene skip. And sometimes you get a really
describe what
long
Murat told us
loading
about
screen for
the
this.
Tanakh. We
That
need
doesn't
their
exist on
permission to go
PC, but it's there.
Yeah, well, I figured
So we're
it'd be
gonna head
nice if
down
they weren't
here
trying
to
kill
the
me all
conversation
time.
with Fashav and the marshals and all that, and then the fight at the embassy. So
No more
you cross the
politics.
bridge, and we get the cutscene. You skip
fearless
first,
red
and then it's
giant will
dialogue
tend to
skip
scare about-
with X. So it's a square skip, dialogue skip, again down into the left
You-
selection.
It's
Then
calling-
you're gonna skip a
I've
little
been-
more
I'll grab
dialogue,
it. Take
and
it,
then you're
Chief.
gonna get to
Make
two
it.
cutscene skips before the fight starts. So
can
right
find-
here and right here. And so this is where things get quick. So there's a couple schools of thought on this fight. On story, we have a couple of options. On ultra hard, you really don't. You can't use traps and all that kind of stuff. You're just gonna start throwing spikes at things. So on story, current consistent strats, trying to say that without messing up, are to lay an elite acid trap over here when it starts.
cover!
So you come out
Archers on the
here,
ridge!
slide twice, and you want to put it right here. Like right here outside of these white, you know, or the white top on the grass here. You can kind of see the long grass. Right over here in this area. I usually stop somewhere next to these white flowers. But usually that's the second patch that I do. And what I do here is I stop, lay a trap, and then I back up a little bit. Okay? Just back up a little bit. And then we're going to throw a spike into the fire. I wish I could like show you exactly what I mean. The fire goes from the left, it goes up and then down and then up and then down and up and down. You can kind of see what I mean. That little second, I don't know what you call it, hump in the fire, you want to throw right at that one and right at the top of it. So if I close right here, that should get you enough every time. Now, I use the word should because propelled spikes are finicky. So we'll restart, kind of show you what I mean all at once here. So we move forward.
Stick to cover! Archers on the ridge!
Stop here and drop one. Fire. And then I drop another one. You don't have to drop this, but you can if you have the time. Just immediately as soon as you throw, drop another trap. You can do this with only one. Dropping a second one after you throw kind of helps guarantee that you get both bristlebacks and both riders. And it's still not 100% when this changes to phase 2. So now we're at this, and what I actually do is I'll switch to my bombs real quick before the cutscene. And so you saw the dead but living bristleback there, but that got all 4 of them, and we go right into the cutscene here. So it's that quick if you lay those 2 the way I did. So you go in, you lay the first one, you take a quick step back into the left, throw your spike, and lay another one. And then I switch to bombs so that I can have something at the ready that I can just quick lob at another. If any of those guys live, I can just kill them. Now I have to switch to my sharpshot bow, which I actually set up on my quick switch for phase 3 against Grutta. And this strat is the same no matter how you do it. You can throw a bomb at his feet and it can kill him, but it's not as consistent. But what we're gonna do now is skip.
Never seen a shield like
switch,
that. Better scan it.
shoot him in the leg. His shield gets in the way quite a bit. It's one of those things you really want to pay attention to. Just really be ready for a focus shot immediately upon skipping that cutscene, and then shoot him in the leg with that focus shot. You have to kind of go down and left on his body, but keep an eye on his movement because you have to fire fast enough to not hit the shield. So we'll do this all in one so we can get another look at it.
Yeah, well, I figured it'd be nice.
And then once we're good here, we'll go over Tall Neck, and I think we'll call it there for episode 1.
Fearless.
So skipping dialogue. Again, holding down and to the left through this, and then just waiting.
Take it, Chief. You can
maybe.
Waiting to see the words "your choice" at the bottom of the screen. It's one of the few subtitles that's actually on point when he says it during this conversation, and it's right at the end, so it's a nice indicator. When you see or hear "your choice" when you're skipping, you know to start skipping with square for the cutscenes. Make sense? Makes sense. So now we run forward.
Stick to cover!
2 slides usually, and then just drop it. There we go again. You can even just switch right to your sharpshot bow. That was 4 numbers for damage, so
Never
we're
seen a shield
good.
like that. Better scan it.
And you just shoot him real quick. Once you've shot him, switch to your mount call on your quick menu, and then select your railgun and your hunter bow. And there I skip a cutscene. That's when I split. So that's my whole first split. I like to wait for the little skip thing, the skip square on the bottom right to show up, so that That's like my indication to hit the button. And I'm just hitting square, and then I go over to X. Like once I split, I just start hitting X. So yeah, but that's, you know, that's the time for the split. And then tall neck fast travel is next. So you start skipping all of Lawan's dialogue. It's another down and to the left selection. You'll see him raise his arm here. Right there. You'll see that as you skip through. That's when you know to make your dialogue selection. And then again, if you want to avoid doing this here, he'll raise his hand up at the end of the conversation, and then you'll know to stop hitting X after you hit it there. So there's little things you can watch him do that kind of help you. Once you've finished that conversation, now we want to wait and watch the bottom right of the screen. You're going to see a save circle pop up after about 18 seconds. You want to hit this when that happens and go over here to try to fast travel. As you can see, it's not working. You can back in and out until you get it. Or you can restart from save once you don't get it. You'll see the little symbol there, the loading symbol on the bottom right. As soon as that disappears, hit your map. And I mean immediately, like you kind of have to do it right away because you don't have all the frames that you do like to hit it. After a few restarts, it sometimes just doesn't work. So if you don't get it, restarting from save and immediately hitting your map can help. But if it doesn't work, this is our big first reset point in the run on story. And it's just one of those things where you can lose a lot of time trying to get this to work, and it's just not worth it. You might as well redo the first, 9 minutes of the run over again and just wait to get a good one. Timing comes with practice, knowing when to watch for the save circle to show up. For me, it makes a sound when the quest kicks on. When the save happens, there's this it's like a little whoosh noise, I don't know, in your ears. I wait for that noise, and that's when I hit my map. If I don't hear that, it would throw me off. Just seeing the save circle there isn't enough. You actually do have to wait a few frames from when the save circle shows up for it to be more consistent. It's like the save circle shows up, and then for some reason the tall neck's not available right away. But then if you wait a couple of frames and then you hit your map, it works. But then if you wait too long, it doesn't work anymore. It's like this weird window that it's just like, okay, it's not going to let you do it until you do something else. Fast travel away and fast travel back, whatever. So it's like a thing that you just kind of need to figure out. But I have found that doing it too quickly doesn't work, and doing it too slowly doesn't work. There is a window of frames where this is like, yep, we're going to work this time. And that's why you'll see me only quickly turn it off and turn it back on when I'm trying it again, because I only want it to go a couple of frames for me to test it. I've actually gone away in recent runs from doing the restart from save. I find that when I mess it up, I'm always too early, and I can do like a quick reset of the map and move it forward a few frames before trying it again, and that usually works. After 3 or 4 attempts like that, you might as well just restart from save though. So some things to keep in mind when you're deciding to keep going after a tall neck failure is how well it works. If it's your first runs, do it until it works and then use the time save for later. That's perfectly fine. All right. Well, that's the Daunt. For me, that's the Daunt. That's episode 1. We'll get to No Man's Land in part 2 of this part of the run. But basically, we're headed to Latopolis after this. I know some folks in chat were hoping to see Latopolis and learn a few things about it. But we'll get there. We'll get there next time. Hey guys, well, that was awesome. Yeah. I thought that was great. Dorian, thank you for putting together this fantastic layout and everything and getting it to work and playing with it while I was going on here. This is great. We'll be here again next week, hopefully again at 4 o'clock on Thursday, Central Daylight Time here in the States. That's like 11 o'clock for most of you people over there and in the EU. And yeah, hey, thanks for being here. I've been, like folks have said, I've been wanting to do a tutorial for a long time, and like this is really the way I want to do it. So now we'll have a VOD. I've got a local recording we can put up. Things are good. Anyway, thanks again for being here. You guys are an amazing community. I always have fun hanging out with you guys, and I hope to see you here next week for more of this. If you do run tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to do runs later. I'm going to take a short break and eat something, and then I'm going to try and do a run. So I'll be back on my channel in a little bit. But yeah, I'm definitely here for questions whenever you guys need. Yeah, let's raid Kira. Let's do it. She's doing looks like Plague Tale stealth runs, Plague Tale Innocent. So she's going to be running Plague Tale at RTH. So yeah. You're how you do it, right? I think so. This channel is intended for mature audiences only. Kira swears like a sailor, just like me, so you know it's fine. Go enjoy some Plague Tale Innocence runs. You would love to do something for Hundo? Yes, absolutely. We're gonna get to those things as well. We will eventually showcase every run on this series. I plan to go over all of it. Oh yeah, Innocence is an 18+ game too. I can't imagine why. Rats tearing things to shreds is always a good time. All right. Well, hey guys, as I always say, I love you. I appreciate you. There ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon. Later.